What is up, everyone? Welcome to this week's episode. Back in the cards here, and we're starting our weekly chats with people we've met and kind of gotten to know over social media, and we're gonna bring them front and center to you, get a little deeper with them, find out about their background, find out how they get into the hobby, what they like about it, and kind of how they engage social media and the day to day to just keep the hobby fun and keep it going. So. This week, I'm bringing in a pair who I thought kind of came as a tag team, which is an ironic metaphor if you'll keep listening and figure out why that's ironic. But we've got Greg Plays Games. Now, if you notice, Greg, especially on TikTok, does a little bit of everything. And I think that's what makes his social media brand so great, is that he does a lot of stuff around sports cards and collecting, but there's so many other parodies and just things around day to day that just make it very enjoyable, and it doesn't get mundane. It's fresh, it's diverse, and it like I said, it certainly ties back to that sports, hobby. He brings along with him his tag team partner Sobrazar, real name Rocky, so spoiler alert, right? And these guys have just been great, engaging online, talking about a lot of fun things, talking about the hobby, and just in our little 2 or 3 minute pre-production chat here. Learn so much about these guys. I think you're going to love hearing more about them and talking more. So we'll get right into it. So Greg and Rocky, welcome, and thanks so much for taking the time to talk with us.
Thanks for having us.
Happy to be here. I don't like the fact that Rocky's here, but I'm pretty happy to be here.
You can't please everyone all the time, right?
I know.
Sorry.
Right?
So, Greg, if you want to start then, and just tell us kind of like, how you got into cards and kind of your background and kind of what you do the other, 23 hours of the day.
So, spoiler alert, Rocky and I are brothers. I know everyone's kind of really surprised, but by blood too. We're actually related, sadly. And the first memory I have of collecting cards, and I think Rock will remember too, was in Washington D.C. and getting the Fleer basketball cards. What was it, 95?
Yeah, or 94, 95.
94, 95.
Kid rookie year.
Hill and Kid rookie year. Stopped collecting for years after, probably about 2004, 2005. I remember getting a Kerry Wood jersey card. That was like my last collecting area that I remember. Started getting interested in other things in life and was like, collecting cards is for kids. And then something happened with, Rocky's collection, and that made me start collecting again. The first thing I bought was opening day, the 2020, to get back into it. And I'm like, I could tell these are the more low end cards. And the first pack I opened, there was a 1-of-1 printer plate of Trey Turner. And I was like, well, now I got to find more stuff.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So it snowballed since then. We're just learning and checking out all different types of cards and building my own collection and finding people in the community to talk to and to learn what they like, what they want to do, what their goals are for selling cards or collecting cards.
Right.
So it's been really fun in the last, I would say 3 or 4 months to just get to know a lot of these people.
Definitely. No, and very similar, actually. Opening day was some of the first cards that I bought too, going back into it. That's kind of funny. Rocky, what about you?
I probably collected a little bit longer than him. I think I went probably a few more years. Recently, I got my collection stolen though, so I lost a lot of stuff. Lou Alcindor rookie card, Nolan Ryan rookie card. Those wouldn't come to mind because they were my wife's dad's, and he has since passed away. So we were kind of holding on to them for, the kids that we were going to have. So it was a little disappointed, but I started recollecting.
That makes me feel bad.
What? Oh my gosh!
You start laughing right after you say that. I'm like, I have a terrible feeling in my soul now.
Oh my gosh! I'm sorry. You can't dwell on things too long. But so I decided to get back into collecting. My wife supported it. Went a little bit of different route than Greg. I think Greg went more for the blasters at first. I tried to collect sets. So I went back in 1989 Topps traded. This was one of the ones I wanted to get. Just, the amount of rookies that are Hall of Famers now that we're in that football. Collected a few baseball, a few basketball from the 92, about 95 through there. And then after that, when Greg started getting into the blasters and all the hits he was getting, I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'll follow him a little bit and see if I can be as lucky as him.
That's cool. Yeah, that's where, growing up in the 80s and in the junk wax era, I really had a lot more of the traditional, boxes. I remember going to this, I could get them wholesale for like $9, right? It was just ridiculous how cheap they were and how many cards you got for $9. And I'm going to the store and it's like, yeah, here's some, soccer cards or $20 boxes. I'm like, okay, $20 box. There's 24 cards in here. I'm like, that's not a lot of cards. And then it's like, well, why am I going to buy a hobby box for $80 when I get some cards down the street at Walmart for whatever, right? This is before the great shortage of 2020. But then you realize why you go after the hobby boxes and why you go after the mega boxes and, the blaster boxes and such. And then it all kind of makes sense. You kind of buy a little bit of each, you get what's special in each. And no, definitely. But I'd gotten so many cards that I wanted to start making sets too, because I'd made sets growing up, right? And before I kind of liquidated them and got rid of them all, when I stopped collecting, because I had other more expensive things to purchase, I was making sets and stuff. So I want to get back into that. And I did the opening day, and then I did Top Series 1, and I did Donruss. I have way too many Donruss 2020 cards. So if you guys need any Donruss 2020, I can hook you up for sure. I actually like a lot of the inserts there. They have a lot of variations and such. But I remember being on TikTok Live with Adam from Heroes for Sale. And I'm like, which card do I put in my set? Because I had to get short prints and everything. And I didn't know what a short print was or whatever else. And it's funny because I found out what a short print was and how you tell what a short print was. I'm like, so you want me to look at that little number on the back of the card and I can figure out, and then, but actually like Beckett and Cardboard Connection have some tremendous checklists with visuals of the front of the cards to kind of help you out. But it just blew my mind. Like some of the cards had like a serial number on them, they were like numbered, or what the auto or the pack.
That's a lot.
It's a lot to just take in initially. It's a completely different game.
I mean, Heritage.
I still have a problem finding numbers cards. I always I'm talking to Greg on the phone yesterday and going through it like for the fourth time, and I'm like, oh, here's a Garrett Cole numbered out of 50. I didn't see the first 5 times.
Right. But so it's been fun getting back into it and kind of learning, the vernacular, the vocabulary of the hobby, a rip or a pull or a raz, and all that kind of came at me really fast. It was really baptism by fire for myself, and it sounds like you guys too.
Yep.
I'm trying to figure it all out. But I know, Greg, you start with a lot of Topps Heritage? Because
when our local Walmart, like at least local to me, it just, that's all they had. Like, there was a shortage of pretty much everything. I think everyone knows like what happened with Mosaics at the beginning surge of their release, that you could find one maybe every 4.5 weeks. And it just, they had Heritage, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to test my luck and pull it. And that's kind of how I am too. Like if I find something, I'm going to test it. I'm not going to go and look for a certain product online. I like that hunt, and maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't. Heritage has been very good to me. I can't complain. I've gotten so many of the short prints and super short prints from there. Sold a bunch to you and to you.
Yeah, you should. Yeah.
Still have I
don't get no discount. He just like, hey, bid on them. You have to fight.
No, don't even.
Yes,
I didn't even know you won the one. I go through the bidding ends on eBay. I look down and I'm like, all right, do you want me to just bring them over? We'll just drop shipping.
That's great. No, it's great. No, and I think that's actually really cool too. You see a lot of these, the Discord groups and even people putting their eBay stores on their Instagram and stuff. It's actually neat. Even making that initial purchase from somebody on eBay, and then going forward, you can just kind of directly. I have a lot of people ask me, "Hey, do you have any of this guy or that guy?" And then I can send them a bunch of pictures, and we work a deal. I have a lot of people looking for like $1.50 cards. They don't want to go on eBay for it. I'll tell them, play my envelope, or you want to build a stack, or we want to do. I saw a lot of cards on Twitter. And that's fun, but that's a lot of bookkeeping. Like if I'm posting about 100 cards or so, I'm probably selling about 20, 25 of them. And then it's like, okay, this person wants this card from this picture, but this one from this picture, and this one, and you're writing it down, you're building a pile. It takes me 2 or 3 days to kind of go through it. And then you're collecting all the money. Actually, collecting money is the easy part. You give somebody a total, I have it all written down, take a picture, I was like, here's what you bought. And Yeah, it's kind of fun because it moves the cards. So it's funny because I'll collect $20, but then I'm probably spending 20, 25 with 2 or 3 other people on Twitter. So it's kind of like I'm getting rid of cards that I don't really want, and I'm getting cards that I do want. So to me, that's a win-win as well.
Yeah.
Just a lot of fun. Like even we keep talking about Pete Alonso. He's my one big personal collection, right? So like even the Diamond Kings. So these are kind of the cards, just like the Donruss ones, where they're not like super expensive and they're not, but they're just nice cards. They're just they're very colorful. They're rich. A lot of decent inserts and kind of breakout mini sets within them. The other ones I like are the selects. So like here's a Tatis Fireworks, and then you have your traditional DeGraw, right? And then this is what is this one? Phenomenon. Phenomenon.
Okay.
It's a Vlad Phenomenon. And just with the prism, you get the nice refraction going on there. It's a really nice card. So I think, even though they get a bad rap for not having the license, I think they're great cards. And I think their visual appeal keeps them, competing and such.
I think they're sturdy too.
Yeah,
I mean, that's one thing Greg and I were talking about yesterday. I opened up some Top Series 2, and I had a Luis Robert rookie in there, and it comes dinged. I'm like, oh, great. I've never had that happen with any of the selects. No,
they're solid. Actually, one of the selects that Bo Bichette I pulled in that team break, I'm doing a group submission with Ed to send some cards to PSA, and he's just going to send it right in because rather than me send it to him back, he's just holding it and he's going to take care of it and stuff too. So cool. So we talked about kind of like, how you got back into cards and how long you've been collecting. So I think we touched on it briefly, but what are some of your favorite cards to collect? Which brands or which sports or what have you?
Baseball.
Sorry, you can go.
Either way. Baseball for me, just because that's a sport I played my whole entire life.
Me too. Yeah.
I heavily keep up on it. Like, I don't want to say a pathetic degree, but like I will just scour minor league rosters and look at people and find clips and be like, okay, I like the way this guy swings. That's the whole reason why I fell in love with Franmil Reyes. And when he got traded to the Indians last year, I had talked for weeks on end about like they could trade for Franmil Reyes. They need a right-handed power bat. He's in San Diego. They got a surplus of outfielders. And then it happened, and it was just like that's what I like to do with. I love football too, but just baseball, I understand it more like on a fundamental level. So then doing that transition to cards especially when you got the Bowmans and stuff that come out, when you're already searching those players constantly just to learn more about them, it's a lot easier to collect.
Yeah, those Bowmans gave me like a headache, not from, the cards. The cards are very nice cards, but the amount of new players, the amount of new, and then all the different, you want the chromes or the first Bowmans or just the paper, and people look down on like the paper Bowmans, like second-class citizens. Like, God, that's just the paper. Like they're nice cards. Like,
yeah.
But that's the problem is you rip all this product and you're stuck with all these cards, and it's like, well, you have to kind of liquidate them and get rid of them or bundle them into a trade or a lot or something like that. And it's definitely interesting. That's something I'm finding too is like the art of the lot, right?
Yeah.
Is do you put team lots together? Do you put player lots together? Do you do lots by year or by brand?
I haven't had much success with the team lots. More like player focused lots seem to be moving quicker, I guess you could say.
The team lots supposedly move better on Mercari.
That's where I just posted stuff on eBay for the first time in years today. But Mercari, usually it's just the player lots that move for me personally. I don't know about Greg.
eBay, it's been a lot easier for me to just do random players, like and put it together. Especially with short prints. I have enough to start doing team lots, but just through searches of what I'm going to sell and checking sold listing completed items, I'm not comfortable with the quantity of what I have to sell it for an X amount of money. Like I know I'm going to take a big like net loss there, so I'm trying to wait until I can get some more product and put it together and set it all out.
Nice. So we kind of gave a teaser earlier about wrestling. Greg, do you want to kind of tell everyone about how you what your ties are to professional wrestling? Because it was no surprise to me when you told me, because I see how comfortable you are on camera and just the way you articulate in your videos, especially on TikTok. But I won't say anymore. Go ahead.
It's a really weird thing. So I was playing slow pitch softball at a tournament with a guy that Rocky and I used to know, and he had a company that was doing broadcasting for high school sports. So Rocky and I started to do broadcasting for high school sports in Ohio: football, basketball, baseball, softball. I found a flyer online for a local wrestling company. Took it to Rock. Rock ran it up the ladder. We became the announcers for that company. We left the broadcasting company, started helping run the wrestling company, and now it's been 3 years. And this is what granted, we can't do anything right now because of the pandemic, but that's our one Sunday a month, sometimes 2 Sundays a month, is professional wrestling and doing announcing. I'll do ring announcing. Rock will run the camera. We do the color and announcing through headset for recording. It's a lot, but it's super fun. I love professional wrestling. Rock used to be a professional wrestler.
I wouldn't say that. I did
wrestled
training.
at OVW. You were in Kentucky. You had all the big name people
like the beginner
there,
class.
like John Cena. Don't even. But I'll post a video later today of me getting absolutely destroyed in a charity battle royal from July of last year. So you'll be able to see that. So anyone who hates Panini products and who has been on my page and talk crap about Panini products, you're gonna have a great time seeing me get my ASS kicked.
Is that Andre the Giant on your shirt?
Yes. It's from Princess Bride.
Princess Bride.
Yeah. One of my favorite movies, which I guess the wrestling should have kind of figured that out right there with the Andre the Giant shirt.
Love it. Where was I? And I saw there's an Andre the Giant. I think it was at actually the one sports card shop I go to.
The inflatable.
There's a bunch of Funkos. And Andre the Giant, like giant Funko.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
They just came out with an Andre the Giant inflatable costume like the dinosaurs that you see around.
Oh my gosh.
I think it's like $30. My birthday's coming up in August, so
yeah, I'm sure you'll be wearing
everybody
that.
want to put it, and I'll just wear it and I'll go out and do my thing.
Oh my gosh.
We'll put that right next to the Pete Alonso polar bear card. GoFundMe. Yeah.
GoFundMe for Andre the Giant inflatable costume.
Awesome. So yeah, it's what have been some of your like victories in terms of sports cards, and then the opposite is what are some of your struggles? Want to start? Let's start with Rocky.
Oh, we're gonna start with me. Great.
Yeah, we'll start with
I think one of the things that have been helpful, one of the successes is like following Greg into like a good community, because not everyone in the community is like helpful and willing to like take their time with newbies. But Greg found a good group of people. Like Greg was my go-to for the longest time, but he would go to you a lot of the time. He'd ask you, or he'd ask, I know he's mentioned Paulie B. A lot of the guys he'd reach out to on behalf of me, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should just talk to them too. Negative. I can't even think of like any like negative stuff right now.
My only negative would be, you get toxic people in all communities. I love Dungeons and Dragons. I have a Dungeons and Dragons podcast. That may be the most toxic community on TikTok.
Followers are going down now, man.
I don't listen. It's fine, but it happens because there are people who have the idea that they know everything. So instead of translating knowledge, they bash you because you don't have the knowledge. And it doesn't seem like that happens a lot in the sports community, especially sports cards. I'll put out a question all the time, be like, I don't know anything about this. Like, can somebody help me? And I'll get 5-10 DMs that are like, oh yeah, this card's with this and you do this. And I'm like, okay, like that's how I got into it, was people who follow I pulled a Green Hollow Velocity Lamar Jackson rookie card from a $6 clearance pack. And I had not sold anything yet on any sort of site. And I went to you, Mike, and I went to Rich, the Happy Collector, and I was like, what should I do? Like, how should I go about this? And you guys were like, instantly wrote me back, filled me in like how you would go about selling it. And when you have people like that in the community, especially with how far reached, you're PA, we're Ohio, Ed's Florida, Paulie's Oregon. Like
Oh, he's up there. Yeah. Rich is PA too, by the way.
Yeah, Rich's PA. Like we're all spread out, and like everyone wants to help one another. So like I can't tell you how many times I've had somebody write me be like, hey, who do you collect? Do you like Indians? You know, which I do, and they'll be like, hey, when we trade this, I'm going to put in a couple Indians cards. Like you don't have that happen in a lot of communities where people are just willingly taking a part of themselves off and be like, here's a gift to you.
Yeah.
Thank you for selling something to me.
During the break,
the
first break I was a
it's
part
been
of.
great. I mean, the little things I've done with people here and there, sending them cards back and forth, it's been great. And the people on Twitter who receive cards and buy from me, you know, they post the shout outs on Twitter, and that helps give me a little bit of street cred and whatnot. And, you know, I've had return customers, which is great. And, you know, I've never owned a business like that where I've had that like direct return customer feeling. And it's like, it's a really good feeling. And that's where I think, yeah, there's a lot of good people. I've gotten private messages from people who I follow on TikTok and social media. And they're just dropping me, hey, man, I saw your video. It was great. I love your positive message. And it's like, that's so motivating, right? And like I said, I wish, you know, I'm not sure if this national convention is going to happen in December in Atlantic City, but I'm going to really push hard for people to be like, we're going to have like a TikTok after hours get together for everybody who goes to national, just to meet in person and say hi and take a few pictures and have a few drinks together, you know, age permitting, obviously. And, it'll be fun. So definitely check your calendars in December, and we'll see how things go with how well people behave and can't not too much public outcry of tyranny, you know,
Right.
that we can behave and get back to being normal again. And
well, so as soon as everything goes back to normal, I get to shave my beard. So like this is my quarantine pandemic beard. That's why I started growing it whenever everything sort of happened and we got shut down here in Ohio. I had just a mustache, and I told my wife, I was like, I'm just growing my beard until things are back to normal.
So there's footage
really
of you just with a mustache?
Oh yeah, that's if you go on TikTok, you scroll back to March. I know it's quite a ways. Most of my content is just me with just the mustache.
There goes my night. I have no more time left tonight now to do anything. And that thing too is you'll notice each week on TikTok, I get a little scruffier here and there. You saw, I mean, everyone's hair is just bushy. Like I just got a haircut a couple weeks ago, but your hair is like bushy. It's like, but then again, that's the fact I love too, is like you can look like crap in your video and like there's not a single negative comment about like, dude, how about you brush your hair today? Like nothing, or did you shower? Nothing. Like, but what you talk about is very important. You know, how you look, no one cares. Unless you're like an 8-year-old model or something.
I used to be uncomfortable with the idea of like how many people would see videos, like if they would potentially get bigger. I'm like, oh, I don't want somebody to say something. And then I did a video where I don't have my shirt on. I'm a heftier fella, and I'm pretty hairy. And I'm like, I have like a sash on and everything. And I'm like, you know, I used to be so nervous about how people would see me. And then there's I have no, like I'm wearing shorts and no shirt and just being gross and hairy and big beard. I'm like, all that has went out the window. There's no more inhibitions. It's just, my page is a fever dream anyways. Like it's just all chaos all the time. That's the only way I can describe it.
That's great. That's great. No, I love it. So we've been going, I feel like we just started and we're like 25 minutes in, but I wanted to quickly say, so something that I kind of end with for each interview, now, well, 2, maybe 3 of them, right? Is, you know, with the show being, or with the brand, whatever you want to call it, my angle, right? We'll talk wrestling. My angle is back into cards. So what cards are you into? And then I guess the opposite of into is out of. So what cards are you out of? What are you avoiding? What are you kind of giving a little bit of a thumbs down to? I'll kind of go ahead and get started to give you guys some time to think. So Gary V seems like he's into vintage basketball now, right? He's posting a lot on Twitter and Instagram about the vintage cards he's buying, like Willis Reed and some other ones. But I've recently been buying some vintage baseball because these are some of the cards that attracted me to collecting and I thought were cool. So here's a 72 Carl Yastrzemski, right? That's a PSA 8. It's not too shabby and it's fairly affordable, right? I think it was $40. Thurman Munson, right? 75, right? PSA 8 again. So I think PSA 8 is a nice sweet spot. The cards aren't super expensive. and they're not like a PSA 10s are expensive. If you're buying cards in the 70s or PSA 10, you're paying for them. They're expensive.
Yeah.
But if you've heard any of my backstory, 1983, being in a card shop and just starting to collect and seeing like rookie cards like Ryan Sandberg, Tony Gwynn, Wade Boggs, right? Cal Ripken. There was a Thurman Munson card in the case, and it was $20. And I thought, man, that's expensive for a baseball card. So it was kind of a bucket list thing to get reacquainted with the card. So there's a PSA 8 off-centered. So I think top to bottom is probably the off-center piece of it. But I got this I thought an extremely good value. I think the off-centeredness dropped the PSA 8. You know, this was like my bucket list card. Like, I'm going to be reunited with this card kind of thing. So yeah. I am starting to find, and I do have a 1978 Willie Randolph card too upstairs. It might even be a PSA 10, maybe a 9, but it's a really nice card. So I'm getting back into vintage cards. You know, soccer, I just had a huge win with the Panini Chronicles. I don't think you guys are really into soccer cards, so I won't bore you to death with it, but this is neat. These came out from Panini, and it's kind of a greatest hits of all the different types of Panini cards that are available. And there's 3 boxes because it focuses on 3 leagues: Italy, Spain, and England. But in the set itself, it's almost like a greatest hits of like Donruss cards and Pitch Kings and the Prestige and the Elite, right? And then you got like your auto patches still and such. So it's the design it's very unique. A lot of the cards, some of them sell for several $100s already. People want them. They're really excited about them in the soccer community. So I got kind of lucky. I got some on Panini the day they came out. But, you know, I'm starting to circle the wagons back into soccer. I'm starting to circle the wagons back into football. I got some Daniel Jones SGC cards. I love this blue card, the blue on blue. This is a blue prism out of 175. Just a really beautiful card, I thought. And I have a Kyrie Irving from the Cavaliers, and it's orange, an orange prism with the orange jersey. And that's another card that's going to be hard for me to sell one day. I love the color of it. It's great. So like, that's kind of what I'm back into, right? Soccer, digging a little deeper. So again, I bought some more Mbappe cards. These are PSA 9s to make an investment with Champions League coming up. If you're not familiar with Champions League, they take the champions of all the different leagues worldwide and make a tournament out of it. And it runs for months usually. And it was delayed due to COVID, obviously. And then it just trying to restart up again. So it should be good for him and good for soccer. A lot of the leagues did pretty well too, jumping back into it. I was fairly surprised. So that's kind of like what I'm back into. What am I backing out of? I don't know. Like, I'm trying not to buy any more basketball right now. I'm trying to sell the basketball cards. I mean, if you look at Card Genie Pro, just the market, it's outrageous. Like, it just, let me look at my little market here. I mean, I don't know how well that's going to come on a screen, but the top one's basketball. I mean, it's just up, up, up. You can see baseball's kind of steady, a little down. That's why I'm getting all my Pete Alonso's now, right? And football's making a little bit of a turn up. I think it's people like me that are trying to focus on what football's bringing. So I try to look at that and realize too. So right now, basketball is more of a sell for me, unless I get some raw cards kind of cheap. But I think with basketball, it might not be a bad idea to look at players who are not going to be coming back for this shortened season, right? So teams that didn't qualify, their cards are kind of out of sight, out of mind. Might be some good time to buy those. But I'm just, with that market being so high, I have enough basketball cards to keep me busy. So Greg, what about you? What are you into? What are you kind of out of right now?
I like, for my personal collection and things like that, I have really no allegiance. I will sell anything, which I guess is a blessing and a curse, because like there'll be cards where I'm like, man, I really like that. But I could probably make $40, $50 and I'll get rid of it. Like players specifically, I don't mind the brands. I don't care about the whole license, situations with like baseball and things like that. It's never bothered me. And actually, if you look at it further with how this negotiation to start the 2020 season has went for baseball. When a licensed product would try to come out, let's say they strike when they go to do a renegotiation of the contract, those cards will have a limited, ability to get out because they're signed with the Players Association and the MLB. But cards like Panini can still put out because they're signed with the MLPA. There's no season. They don't need to worry about likeness rights. So if you ever have a situation like that where there's a strike that's ongoing that goes for an extended period of time, Panini cards are going to be what you get. So maybe get on board a little bit now.
There you go. I like it. I like it.
Two, I look for players specifically that I see kind of like flashback guys, where like I look at AJ Puck and I see Randy Johnson. I see a big lefty that's electric, has a great slider. You can find his cards on the cheap because people look at Jesus Luzardo, and on his own team. Dustin May, with the ginger guard, like everyone loves his cards. He's a bigger name. I like to try to pinpoint those people that I'm out on. I probably alone on this. Luis Robert. You guys can collect them all that you want. I'm not heavy into it. I don't trust any White Sox ever. Big Hurt and Paul Konerko maybe been the only two.
I do like Paul Konerko because I played first base.
See?
So I do like Konerko. Actually, I might have a T-shirt jersey of him upstairs if I didn't sell it or give it away or whatever. I do have a Konerko shirt from the Comiskey, whatever the new Chicago Park was back in 2000s when I was out that way. Sorry, go ahead.
I've always liked Konerko. I think he may have been like the only White Sox, him and Thomas. It's hard to like people in the AL Central when you're an AL Central fan. Omar Vizquel is like probably one of the ones that I would like to gather for my personal collection. He's the whole reason I started playing baseball in the first place. Rock actually got me an autograph of Omar Vizquel for Christmas. I don't know if it was last year or the year before. That's hung up in my downstairs room. For my pride and joy. Basketball, I think Trae Young's probably a good one to jump on right now.
That's because he's off the radar. Yeah.
He's off the radar. He averaged 29.6 points per game at 21 years old. He's the first player to do that. That when you're thinking about like these big name guys, like it took Kobe 6 years to do it. Jordan averaged 28.3 his first or his age 21 season. You can go down the list of people that it took a while. Trae Young's a shooter. He's going to have success. Shoot. We all know that. I like Luka. I just like the way he plays. I think you can collect any Luka cards and they'll sell. Football, I think Mahomes is now in like Trout territory because you get base cards of him, they'll sell. He's good. He's got the contract. He has the lore to him. He plays the quarterback position like somebody we haven't seen, just like Lamar Jackson, which is another guy I collect. But again, no allegiance. So if I have the cards, you'll probably see them on eBay or Mercari somewhere. They'll pop up with GB House of Cards right underneath it, and they'll be out the door.
Oh gosh,
love it. Rocky, what you got?
I'm really into Clearly Authentic right now. Collecting rookies. You can get them really cheap, and just like personally, like this is a box of cards that goes for $60, and people are getting rookies they think aren't going to do anything, so they're throwing them out there for $5-6 at a time. So I'm trying to collect as much as that as possible. This season's going to be screwy, so a guy could go off for like a week, and his cards are going to shoot through the roof. Who knows who's going to be on the team? Who knows who they're going to be playing against? Guys are opting out, so I think a lot of young guys will continue playing. So yeah, I'm collecting as much of that as I possibly can right now. The thing I'm off of, Panini Contenders. That's for football.
Which sport?
That's football, yeah.
Football, okay.
Yeah. Just most of the people I know that have got it, getting a lot of autographs of like undrafted players. So I don't know of anyone that's got a hit like in my circle, but who knows?
That was the Panini draft picks. Right. I actually got these 2 boxes retail, and it was a kind of like, I left some for the kids. I only grabbed 2. I probably could have grabbed 10, and I couldn't believe how much these were selling for.
Oh, really?
Once you couldn't find them. I mean, they almost tripled in price. Yeah. And like all the autos, they were guys who were either late draft picks or not drafted at all or signed post draft. But I sold a couple autos that I had sold at like $10 a piece for them.
Oh,
So
really?
it wasn't terrible. It wasn't terrible, but it didn't do anything for me. I like, I want to get the Daniel Jones autos or the, the guys I know. And it was once again, getting new back into the hobby. It was a learning experience, right? I mean, I've learned so much just by getting in there, spending the money, ripping boxes. You see on my TikTok videos, the wall of fame I have of all the boxes that I've opened and stuff. Most of them are retail. A couple are, a couple blaster boxes are got from a card shop and stuff. But just learning, just constantly learning about the different types of products and stuff. So like even like there's a lot of Panini products, there's a lot of Topps products, right? The Topps 206 cards. And then you can get the 206 cards. You can get variations that are in the 206 inside the Diamond Kings. So there's just so many. But that's neat. I like it. You got a plan, you're sticking to it, and you're gonna find people probably just gifting you cards because they don't really, like you said, they're just not into them. And that's where I find myself with the Bowmans. Like, who do you keep and who do you just keep all the chromes just in case? Oh, right.
I have a sorted box of, when you get the fat packs with like the exclusive camo, like I have just camo here, paper here, first chrome, the mojos, from just a recent breaks doing with Ed, I got to add to, a little section in there. I just try to sort it by each team individually. And as I go through and start looking at 60-man roster, taxi squad, who did what in AAA, AA last year, I can kind of start to develop like what I'm feeling for sale at some point. Now this year it's going to be a little weird, obviously, with how these rosters are constructed. But I think next year as we go forward and you see people like on the Cardinals, like Evan Mendoza, who's really big on TikTok as well. He does like examination to kids swings and like breaks it down, teach them how to swing better. Real nice guy. I've had a lot of conversations with him. He's a guy who you look at the Cardinals team and their aesthetic with Tommy Edman and Tyler O'Neill and Harrison Bader, where you have a bunch of speed guys. You're not looking at the power guys outside of DeJong and Paul Goldschmidt, but the dude just hits for power constantly. Nice. So I'm like, if that's a guy I can hold on to when I get a chrome of him, and let's say he pops up on, next year after this whole taxi squad situation this year and 60-man rosters and he hits 10, 15, I have 6 of his cards that are mojos and chromes. There's a lot. See you later. Have fun. Like hopefully those.
Nice. Yeah. So kind of hold them till you're ready. No, and that's too. What you said. What's that?
I was saying I think I move mine quicker than Greg does for the Bowman. The only two that I've kind of held on to is that Jason Dominguez out of 250 and the Encarnacion out of 150 Blue Mojo auto. Those are the ones I'm like, I want to sell, but I don't know. I might hold them for a while.
No, I sold I got the Mason Greenwood rookie ticket out of here. And as soon as I saw it was listing for over $300, actually it was listing for $399. I'm like, why am I going to try to keep this card? Like list it, because it could come down to $250. Like who knows?
One of the first sales you helped me with, Mike, actually was a Gypsy Queen Miguel Cabrera auto out of 25 with Joe back. There was nowhere on Mercari, StockX, any of these sites that had that listed. So it was like, creating that market for it. And I was like, I know that I can at least get the 100 that the base is for a regular autograph. And you're like, that's my problem. I think a little bit too, is that I will hold a card where I'm like, I know if somebody puts one up and I can see what it sells for, I can duplicate that sale.
Yeah.
I hate being the guy who starts the market. Like it's the worst feeling.
Like some of these cards, like this is at a 99, this patch auto, there's nothing, it's not listed anywhere. Like 0 out of 99 are listed right now. This is at a 25. And I think I found the 50 out of 50 or the out of 99. So I just put a little bit of a multiplier on it and cross my fingers. But no, I think the person who's purchasing the Mason Greenwood card from me is going to get it graded, because all he sells is graded cards on his account. And I'm like, I'm totally cool with that, right? Because one, it was in the back of the sealed pack. So if you see my TikTok about how I got it, it's in the back. that warns me that it could have a little ding or something in it, or maybe that I can't see and I didn't even study it because I just sleeved it and top loaded it like right away.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then I put it in a one touch when I got back to my house because I didn't break it at my house. I mean, good for him. If he wants to I'd fast track that card for $100 to get it graded. I wouldn't even waste time waiting months for that. But, he'd probably have a population 1 for quite a while. But it depends on, I mean, that was an unnumbered card. There's the same card with out of 25, out of 99, which I don't understand how you could have a card base, but then the same card with a group of them out of 25, and those that are worth more than we clearly made more than 25, but these are numbered out of 25. These numbered out of 99.
I've noticed that a lot with autos in the Prism series. Now, if you look at like the different, print styles of the 35 15s, I sold Ed the cracked ice Alberto Mondesi that we pulled in the break that we just recently did.
Yeah.
That's out of 15. Nobody else has it up. There's the 35 version of that, which is a blue that is for like 32, and then the 50 version, which is these like sort of snakeskin look, it's the black and white, goes for 55. So it's like, it's the aesthetic that people are going to pay a little bit more for. Like, it's tough to gauge when you're the only one. That's the only thing that sucks about it.
So we'll see. Rocky, did we get to what you're out on?
Just that the Panini Contenders.
Oh, that's right.
Football.
That's right. That's how we had this conversation. Yeah. That's it's tough with all the different cards out there. Like I was saying, each brand is putting out 6 to 8 to 10 different flavors, right? And it's nice when they first come out, and there's people who love each. And I think that's what makes the hobby so great, right? There are people who absolutely love Diamond Kings, right? So here's the hobby box. Told you I have this like wall of like empty boxes. People love these. You either love them or you hate them.
Yeah.
I like them because they're kind of what makes the collecting part kind of natural. Although I can still get the Pete Alonso auto for $100 in that set, but so it can't be that bad of a set. But I love the stuff like the Fictionado cards. I mean, I bought one on eBay for like $2, and then I pulled one later. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. You got to just find what you like, and that's what makes the hobby great. And you'll find someone who's willing to trade with you, or was it one man's trash and no man's treasure, literally.
Greg beat me to the Griffey that you were trading on the Discords.
Oh, I've got more. If you want one, let me know.
I'm thinking maybe I can deal with Greg. I don't know if he's buying it for PC or what, but
dude, I do whatever. I don't know. I see a card, I just see dollar signs, and then they're out the door.
No, I think that card. That's the one that has 100,000 print, right? Print run. So that's the one where but it's a really nice card, and I think people who don't have it and still want it, you can get them. They're about $10. They're just really, they're really nice. And I mean, the first couple Project 2020 cards that I purchased from Topps, I thought they're only making one of each card, right? I didn't realize it was 20 times 20. And then once I realized, I was like, oh, this is interesting. So I bought like the Dwight Gooden one. It was like card number 12. That shows you how early I was with this, right?
Yeah.
Card number 12. And I just bought one of them. And then I saw it was listing for $250. So Greg, I'm like, that card is out the door. $20, nice to have. $250, that card is out the door. And then like the next week it was like $350, and then $550, and then $850. And everyone's like, oh, why'd you sell it? You're stupid. This is that. And then like when the bottom crashed and that card settled back down to being like $150, $200 card, I'm like, I dealt with no returns, no canceled eBay auctions, no crap that everyone else dealt with. And, I know Ed had a spreadsheet and a portfolio of things. And I mean, he was sitting on a gold mine of cards, and then the market bombed, and then he just, but he's still doing okay with them. And don't get me wrong, Ed's a really, really smart guy.
Yeah.
But it was just, that's what shows you. And Rich talked about it too, is how the market became overhyped and overinflated. And now you have these people who bought 50, 75, 100 of these cards, and they're killing us because I've only got a handful that I want to kind of keep one and just sell the rest at market value, but it has no market value.
Mhm.
You know, so if people have one and want one, I'm willing to throw it in as part of a trade or do whatever, because it's like, I don't need them. I'm not going to, you know.
I started following the 2020s around, I think it was 22 through 24, because it was a Thursday through or Wednesday through Friday, and I was like, I think I'm gonna start jumping on these, and I just remember just always waiting, and I just couldn't pull the trigger for some reason. But now that the market is where it's at and everything's kind of settled, there are a lot of those cards that, like, the art design and the deco of it, I'm like, I would like to have that. I'm glad I waited on, instead of like jumping full bore before, I know there was a couple of those cards that were what, $3,000-$4,000 that ended up falling back down.
Yeah. No, I was lucky. I mean, I did very well on the first couple I had. I remember I had the one Don Mattingly card, and I had them listed for like $75 a piece. 5 of them sold like overnight. I was like, ooh, okay. Like, maybe I should have priced them higher, but it was like watching the stock market in like the tech boom. Like, it was just the prices were all over the place. Be up 20 points one day, down, up, down, but it was a gradual up curve. And that all kind of stopped because everyone just started buying. These pre-order numbers got out of control, and it saturated the market, and it kind of, people lost their interest. So I'm in a couple of Topps Project 2020 Facebook groups, and people are like, this is insane. I mean, people are just buying onesie twosies now. They're not buying to resell anymore.
Yeah.
So that's why the ones that I have to resell, because Topps literally took almost 2 months to ship those cards because they got so backed up. So, I'm looking to just give them to people for fair market value. I'm not looking to profit. I'm definitely losing money on them, but at least if other people can have them and enjoy them, like, that's cool for me. So yeah, if you want anything, let me know. No big deal. Awesome. So we ran way over. I don't know if I would watch 45 minutes of myself, but hopefully somebody got this far. So if you're at minute 47, thank you for continuing to watch, and hope you hit that like button and you subscribed and everything else. But it's been fun. I mean, I did a giveaway on TikTok and stuff, and like you're saying, the community is just so great, and they kind of, you kind of, okay, who did what video today and who did what and who's talking to who, and it is great to see everybody just kind of collaborating and talking to each other, different YouTube channels that are out there, and the different people, and getting to know them. But you're right, like, I mean, talk to somebody in Texas, talk to somebody in Oregon, like, couldn't do this 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
It's a different ball game. But yeah. So anyway, anything you want to plug? I mean, Greg, your user ID is Greg Plays Games.
Yeah, that's pretty much universal. Greg Plays Games on Instagram, Xbox, PlayStation, TikTok. The only one it's not on is Twitter. Twitter is GB House of Cards, just pretty much used for my eBay. I have a
one word or
podcast.
is it underscored?
I believe it's all one word because I think it just fit perfectly in there like that.
Okay, nice.
Let's see. I'll make sure. Yep, GB House of Cards, all one word. I have a podcast that we do for Dungeons and Dragons. It's called We Can Trip. That's available on all platforms. We are currently in the top 20 in the country on Apple Podcasts. So if you want to check that out, it's pretty cool.
Like everything, top 20?
Yeah, anything fantasy, like fantasy fiction.
Okay.
We, obviously got hit with the pandemic a little bit, which sucks because we couldn't get together to record, but we're doing everything remotely now, so we'll have some more episodes coming out here soon. Outside of that, like I said, if you do follow and you play video games, I'm on a lot. We do stream on Twitch at the Cantrip Cast. You can add me on my name. I try to play with everybody I can.
That's awesome. Rocky?
I got nothing to plug. Yeah, I got nothing. I'm just
I do a lot of things.
I know that the Sobrazar is my name on like everything. I'm always like, I'm on everything. I enjoy people write me, chatting, whatever. Questions or just, comments. If they want to tell me I suck, that's okay too. Like, hey, I saw you on the podcast and you're awful. I'm like, oh, thanks. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
We got your view. That's all you got to say. I can't tell you how many times I've put that on a comment. Every time I have somebody that hates me on a TikTok video or something like that, man, I'm like, thank you for your view. Because it's too late. I already got it. So there's nothing you can do now. You
can't take it back.
Can't take it back. It goes into my data. It's in my analytics. I'm sorry, I win.
So again, now at the 49th minute, if anybody's still listening, so what do you think about this TikTok ban? You think it's going to get banned? Do you think?
I
The guy in the
remember
blind?
when Twitter started doing some fact checking on the president, and there was a threat that Twitter was going to be shut down. We still have Twitter, so I think it's going to be the same sort of situation with TikTok. I know that they're saying national security. TikTok does have its own CEO and COO in the United States. They have one server remaining in China. I believe they'd probably find a way to buy that out to get rid of it, and because it's too much of a moneymaker for them to let information that has went to other people be a stop for what they have on the platform. So I think it'll stay. And if it doesn't, you can follow me on MySpace.
MySpace. That's right. I remember that video.
Right.
MySpace. Still available.
Google Wave, Google Buzz, and Google Plus.
Loved Google Wave.
All the way through.
I think that's
I
the
did
only
a show
videos I
with,
like.
I had a podcast with a buddy. We did about 5 episodes called Tweeps Talk Tech, because we were big on Twitter. So I actually started an in-person networking group in the Lehigh Valley called LV Tweet Up. And we would meet in person to just network, right? So a lot of small businesses came in. I did, I rented out rooms at like the hotel conference centers and did talks on social media and engaging your audience online. And it was a lot of fun. It was good. But we did all that. And then we,
Were you gonna say if we're live, pal? Because I thought that would look on your face. That's how we.
it's like the over under. Like, how many people walk in the basement knowing that I said I'm going to be downstairs recording?
I'm surprised my wife hasn't come in like 7 times already.
Every time I have recorded remotely for our podcast, my son has grabbed my snowball mic and taken off and knocked over my computer. He is 4 for 4 on doing it.
How about the rip that you tried to do with me?
Oh yeah, we tried to do a TikTok live we had Prism Megas and baseball Prism, and we got the setup. I have the ring light, I have my stand, I have everything. We have the tables laid out. We're gonna tilt it over. My oldest son runs full speed and knocks it, and it starts shaking. And my dog's like, "Oh, I think it's a good idea. I'm gonna run after the child," and knocks over the camera, the ring light. It goes everywhere. We set it back up. I talked to the people. I'm like, "Hey, it's live television. What are you gonna do?" And my son runs by and knocks it over again. I was like, "We're done. We'll see you later." Clicked right out and was like, "That was."
I was just rolling the whole time too. I didn't even help. I'm just like sitting there laughing.
It's helpful
And
that I
that's
have.
what I tell people. Like, I don't have a big, YouTube. What is it called? The canvas. The token. All my videos don't look the same in the beginning. Like, who does it well is Brandon Chung. He has all his little like. No, you're just gonna. It's raw. It's unedited. It is what it is. I don't have time to do all the editing and such. I mean, I just keep it raw. I keep it real. Transparency. I mean, it is.
Right.
If you're looking for a full-time production, you're in the wrong channel. Just keeping it simple, and I think most people don't mind. I think they don't mind here. They just they enjoy what we just did.
That's what I like to have the organic like story time videos on my TikTok as well, where I just tell like things about like my past or stuff that happened that day. But a majority of the stuff that I do is like all like I will have a dream about it, or I'll be thinking of something else, and I'm like, I gotta write this down. I'll go real quick. The problem with that is I have no technical expertise at all. Like my buddy Brandon, who is on here, does our podcast together, has like 75,000 followers now on TikTok. He's really big, and he like will go onto his editor on his computer and fix up all his videos, and they look all fancy. And I'm like, all right, what can I make look like fire? I don't know how to do any of this. I just hold a little piece of paper.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, guys, thanks so much. This has been a lot of fun, and appreciate getting to know you guys a little bit better. And I hope everybody out there, God, if you're still watching, God bless you. No, I think it's just been a blast. And, this is what I want to kind of do is I'm not going to sit here and pretend that, these are going to be about helping you like make better card buying decisions or investments or how to triple your money and what to flip. And no, it's just going to be a very casual thing about sports cards and the community and kind of what makes it so great. So I appreciate you guys taking the time on a Sunday night to shoot the breeze a little bit.
Oh yeah, thanks for having us.
Blast, man.
No problem. All right, so we're signing out finally. And thanks again. If you're not already subscribed, please do. Please smash the like button, drop a comment, let me know what you thought. If you want to nominate somebody for another show, that we can try that too. But yeah, no, just overall appreciate the whole community, whether you're on TikTok, Twitter, YouTube. If you caught me through I put the right keywords in this week. Appreciate it. So yeah, again, everybody have a great night. Thanks again and take care. Hold on.